All right, 6.4, systems of equations, everyone's favorite word problems. Okay? The biggest thing about word problems is not to freak out about them. Okay? You can write equations and solve them. All right? I promise you. Okay? I'm going to try my best to give you a step-by-step process. Define your two variables. What are the two things that we don't know? Write the system. Here, I want you to find two totals, okay? In every systems question, there are two totals, and that's going to help you figure out how to write your equations, okay? So we are actually going to skip over to the next page, and we're going to start on number 7. All right, the cost of 4 boxes of pens and 3 boxes of pencils is $22.55. 3 boxes of pens and 2 boxes of pencils is $16.45. Find the cost of each. So that means my two variables, my x and my y, is going to be the cost, because that's the thing that we are missing, of each. So cost of, let's make x pens and y pencils. Okay, now to figure out what my equation should look like, I'm looking for two totals. All right, so the first thing they tell me is buying 4 boxes of pens and 3 boxes of pencils is $22.55. So that's one of my totals. So I'm going to have one equation that is equal to $22.55. All right, and then the second combination is $16.45, so I'm going to have a second equation that is equal to $16.45. Okay, and so now my first equation, 4 boxes of pens and 3 boxes of pencils. So 4 times however much pens cost plus 3 times however much pencils cost equals $22.55. And then for my second equation, 3 times however much pens cost plus 2 times pencils equals $16.45. All right. Now, to solve this, we are actually going to graph these in Desmos. So I'm going to go in Desmos and I'm going to type my two equations. So I have 4x plus 3y equals 22.55. And then my second equation is going to be 3x plus 2y equals 16.45. And remember, the solution to a system is where those two lines cross each other. So if I make this a little bit bigger, I can see this, Desmos is always going to put a gray line where the, or gray dot, sorry, where the lines cross each other. Okay, so I can zoom in a little bit so we can see better. But that gray dot, that is where the lines cross each other. So that is the solution to my system. 425, 185. Okay, so there's my solution that I got from Desmos. But because of it's a word problem, we need to put this in context. So remember, ordered pairs are always x, y. So that means pens cost 425, because that is my x, and pencils cost $1.85, because that is my y. And that would be how we would write our final answer in context. What are they asking us to find? Okay, I'm going to skip down to number 11. All right. We have two types of lawnmowers. The smaller one is $249.99. The larger is $329.99. We have 30 total mowers sold and the total sales. We want to find out how many of each type were sold. Okay, so this is what they're asking us for. So that's got to be our variables. Okay. I'm going to make x equals number of smaller mowers. Okay, and then y is going to be the number of larger mowers. If we reverse those, it doesn't matter. We'll end up with the same answer anyway, because we'll have to change how we write our equations. So for my two equations, all right, I'm looking for totals. So I have 30 total mowers. And then I have total sales, which is $8,379.70. So my two totals, I have the total number of mowers sold. Okay, so how do I get how many mowers were sold? Well, I would add the number of smaller mowers plus the number of larger mowers sold. And I know that has to equal 30. Okay. Then for the total cost, total sales, all right, the smaller mower costs $249.99. So that means $249.99 for each small mower, all right, plus $329.99 for each large mower, aka Y, and that's going to be equal to $8,379.70. Okay, then I'm going to go to Desmos. All right, and so I have my equations typed in, but I can't really see anything. That's because these are big numbers, so I got to zoom out. Okay, and then once I zoom out, if I click in this area, it should give me the gray dot. And so there's my solution, 1911. All right, so 1911 is the ordered pair. 19 is X, 11 is Y, so that means 19 small mowers. All right, and 11 large mowers were sold. Okay, and then I always want you guys to put a box around your final answer, make it easier for me and you to find. Right, and that's it for our word problems. We're just going to do lots of practice until you feel confident being able to find the two totals and using those totals to write your equation.